Hi there, this is Chris from MoneyHub, and this video looks at the Kiwibank Airpoints Platinum Visa versus the American Express Airpoints Platinum. So these are two quite popular cards, and we keep this guide, which I've linked to down below, comprehensively updated. And I wanted to say upfront, if you do have any questions, because lots of people do, then please leave them in the comment section below. We're very responsive, and we like to update our guides and make sure everything's properly answered. Because if it isn't, then there's something missing, and we want to make sure that is fixed. So I'm just going to go through this guide and really looking at the two cards and the earn rates and all the benefits and things like that, so you can make an informed decision. Many people have the card from Kiwibank because they've been Kiwibank customers. It's been convenient to be able to earn the Airpoints. Less people, I would say, have the American Express Airpoints card. But we are seeing that change now as the banks have cut back with their reward offers, and I'll get to that in a second. So this video has really just been put together to help explain, what the differences are. So first up, I'm going to go straight into what these differences are, so you can get an understanding. So first of all, we've got the Airpoints card from Amex, and on this column, we've got the Kiwibank card. Now I'm looking at first the earning rate. So this is how many Airpoints dollars you'll earn for all the money that you spend. What you can see right here is that with Amex, it's $59 to get one Airpoint dollar, so you have to spend $59 to earn that. Whereas with Kiwibank, it's like you have to spend $115 to earn the same Airpoints dollar. That really is around twice as much money to spend to earn the same Airpoint dollar. That has changed. It used to be 75, and then it was 85. And now it's gone all the way up to 115 when the government changed the law around Visa and MasterCard interchange fees. And we'll also see some benefits lost as well beyond the earning rate. So that's just really worth noting that it's quite significant difference. And that will be further explained when we look at some of the annual spend or some monthly spends and how the two cards earn different amounts. Now, the bonus Airpoints dollars, we've just put this here. We comprehensively update this, so if there is an offer from Kiwibank, that will be in our guide. But over the last few years, we've seen the banks, and certainly Kiwibank, not offering these signups because for some reason they just don't want to, probably not priced into it. Whereas Amex is actually offering, this seems to be a long-term deal. Of course, I can't speak for the future, but in the past, certainly over 2021, 2022, and 2023, and this video was recorded in kind of mid-2023, then, we haven't seen that, offer drop. So that is something, worth being aware of, because it can help sort of pay or offset the annual fee, which I'll get to in a minute, with these sign-up bonuses. Now, the annual fee, it's $195 for the Amex card, and it's $180 with the Kiwibank card. What's worth noting, though, is that if you do want a supplementary card, i.e. the same card linked to your account, for your partner, for your spouse, for a child, or something like that, then you'll pay an extra $30 per card. So that actually, if you wanted two cards linked to the same account, then that would cost you $210. Whereas with Amex, there's no fee. So that is something quite distinctive. Of course, you save more as you spend more as you get more Kiwibank cards, and of course those have to be renewed every year, so you're spending an extra $30 per person. Now, the status points. This is for anyone who wants to gain or renew perhaps Star Alliance Gold or Star Alliance Gold Elite. I would say that the difference here is quite significant. So Kiwibank is far more generous with earning the status points. $200 is a lot more generous than $250. So if you were to spend, say, in a year, $60,000, then you would earn around 300 status points with Kiwibank. But with the card from Amex, you're doing around 240. This doesn't really mean anything for most people. It's not so useful. Not everybody's Star Alliance Gold or Gold Elite, and if they are, they're probably flying enough to renew it. But it is worth being aware of, like, if you are but flying around, say, 500 status points from flying per year, then, if you do spend enough, then you can tip over and get that Star Alliance Gold through Air New Zealand. Air New Zealand Gold, but it's not something that typically is chased by, someone looking for a credit card. It's an additional benefit. It's something to support their general, activities, but not something that sticks out as a must-have for most people. And then the insurance benefits. So both cards offer international cover. That's when, you activate the cover by spending usually around half the cost of your upfront, bills for your trip. So your travel insurance, your flights or your hotels. And then also it's with, domestic covers also offered by Amex if you do the same for any domestic travel. Now, the interest-free days plus the interest rate, we're certainly not advocating like anyone get a credit card, and then start paying interest and not be able to make the monthly repayments. We really don't like that idea. Look at all in our sites very, actually against that completely. But we have to list this as a comparison data tool, as a comparison data point. So you can see that the Amex card, you can have interest-free days up to 55, whereas with the Kiwibank card, it's up to 44. Secondly, the interest rate, for purchases is going to be 19.95% with Amex, and then it's slightly higher, like 1% higher, 20.95% with Kiwibank. Of course, these can change any time, so we will keep this up to date, but I'm just saying that these are not the reasons to get a credit card, because any Airpoints dollars that you earn, the value of those will be wiped away if you are paying interest, because 20% per year is a lot, and it certainly makes the value of Airpoints dollars earned just negative, really, because the cost of spending your own money with this interest rate is crazy high. Now, something much nicer to talk about, lounge access. So how this works is with Amex, you get 4 vouchers per year, and you get 2 in Auckland to use at an Auckland International Lounge, and then there's 2 in Australia that you can use. So that's going to cover you in Sydney as well as Melbourne. You can do one voucher for you, and then you can get somebody else in, or you can do, you can use them all yourself, or a combination of that. What's worth noting is that Kiwibank has dropped their vouchers. They used to have Air New Zealand lounge vouchers. If you spent $30,000, you would get 2 vouchers, like a pair, and then you could get up to 4 vouchers per year, or 2 pairs. That has all been scrubbed since the law changed around rewards and interchange fees, and so now there's nothing. So just be aware, if you are thinking, oh, actually I used to earn these with Kiwibank or whatever, that has completely gone. Now, this is where it gets interesting with regards to how many Airpoints dollars you're actually going to earn. So I think the best comparison is looking at someone who spends an average $3,000 per month, then someone spends an average of $5,000 a month, and someone who spends $10,000. So you can see with the Amex card, if you're spending around $3,000 a month, then per year you'll earn 610 Airpoints. And then with the Kiwibank card, it's going to be 313. But if you spend, and let's just go straight up to the $10,000 mark, you're really earning twice the number of Airpoints dollars than you are with Kiwibank. So that is something to be aware of. Now, you are earning less status points, but arguably that's not going to be, so significant for most people. What is worth noting, though, is that the amount of money that you need to spend to be able to repay the card fee, because now that Kiwibank has increased their card fee to $180, then because the earning rate is quite low, we just times 100. So we times 180 by 115. So that's the earning rate times the card annual fee. And then to get the Amex, we do the same thing. It's $59 times 195. So what does that actually net out to? So what you do to be able to pay for the annual fee, you have to spend $11,505 with the Amex card, and $20,700 with the Kiwibank card, and that is per year, just to make the card kind of break even, if that makes sense. And if you need further explanation, please do leave us a comment below. What we have also noted is that 300 Airpoints dollars has been excluded, so that is for new signups. That's not something that happens every year, but it's certainly worth being aware of that. You can offset the card fee for what we believe is about 1.5 years just by spending the amount, which is $1,500 over 3 months, within the first 3 months, and so that can offset the fee. We've made the assumption that one Airpoint dollar is worth one New Zealand dollar. That may be right, that may be slightly wrong, but that's what we've gone with. So yeah, that's basically how we've done this to kind of make a valid comparison between the two different cards, and then the value of the actual bonus which is applied versus the fee. Now, what to be aware of, I think this is really important. We've said that Amex outperforms Kiwibank for their number of Airpoints dollars. We are aware that it doesn't, include as generous amounts for status points, but that's a concession which, we're actually fine with. The Amex card is cheaper to hold, largely because you have to spend less to be able to pay off the annual fee to earn enough Airpoints dollars to really do that. So that's worth being aware of. And then lastly, here I've said that the 20% more status Airpoints comes with Kiwibank. That we don't believe has got widespread appeal or widespread demand, but it's certainly worth noting. Now, the things to be aware of course, is I'm going to just go straight into the FX fees. So what Kiwibank does is it charges 1.85% on non-New Zealand transactions. So that means if you're buying something online from overseas, or if you're buying a hotel or something overseas and it's being charged in a non-New Zealand dollars, say euros or British pounds or Australian dollars, whatever, then Amex is going to charge you 2.5% of that as a currency conversion, whereas Kiwibank's going to charge you 1.85%. So that is worth noting that, say, for example, you spend $100 overseas, then 100 with the equivalent of 100 New Zealand dollars, then Amex would charge you $2.50 to transact that, whereas Kiwibank would offer you would charge you $1.85. Now, of course, if you spend $10,000, then the difference is going to be, it's going to be $250 versus $185. So those do start to add up. So we do suggest that people consider travel money cards and also other products, perhaps with 0% of these foreign exchange fees. Other cards that are regulated within New Zealand, just because that can save much more money than any sort of Airpoints dollar that you'd otherwise earn. What else is important is that the supplementary card holders, as I previously said, it's free for Amex, but Kiwibank is going to charge you $30 per year per card, which we think is very high, especially because the card has the highest annual fee amongst all the platinum cards from the banks. And we've just made some other comments around, the payment network, the card, and then how to redeem. Of course, Airpoints dollars is going to be earned through Amex. It's also going to be earned by Kiwibank. So the redemption process is the same. You do it on your Airpoints account. So you will need to be an Airpoints dollar member. Lastly, we've got these two comparisons, just sort of setting out the basics and what you need to know. So it's quite useful just to have a look at those. And then finally, we've got some comments around the pros and cons of Amex, just so people can get more familiar. And we've said that, more and more stores will accept Amex, but, there's still an issue of 100% acceptance. So that is something to be aware of. And we suggest you having a look at, the retailers which are, on our guide, which is also linked below. So you can make a determination whether or not if the card's going to be useful for you. Some people have backup cards that they can be your normal Visa debit card, it can be like a Visa debit card or a debit MasterCard or an FBOS card or something like that. Some people have the TSB Platinum MasterCard. Some people have a free rewards earning account or credit card, that's MasterCard or Visa from their bank. It's quite rare. Some of them aren't, that useful, but there are some alternatives there. Foreign fees, as I said, those can add up to make them, to make the Airpoints dollars that you'd earn actually not that good if you're using, the card to buy a lot of things overseas. You may find that something like the Wise card, which doesn't charge you those high, 1.85%, or in the case of Kiwibank, or 2.5% in the case of Amex. So just be aware of those. and then also the fact that supplementary cards are free. And we've also put some comments around people who've used Amex from MoneyHub's readers, so that's worth having a look at. But really, to make a proper determination and make an informed choice, we strongly suggest people just look through this side-by-side comparison to get an understanding, so they can see which card is right for them based on the value that it provides and also the fees involved and the benefits. So thank you very much for watching. As I say, if you do have any questions, leave them in the comments below. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.